Speak to Hafid Al-Ghouail. He's a Libyan-American analyst and joins us live from Washington, D.C. Thank you for talking to Al Jazeera. So we were just listening there to the reports of mercenaries being flown in and now confirmed reports. We heard Gaddafi speak earlier on, give a rather chilling speech to his people. How worried are you at where the situation is going?
I'm getting worried by the minute. It is obvious that Gaddafi is trying to push the situation to an all-out war, a civil war. I think he is desperate enough to do so. His grip on power is slipping away by the minute, and I think he's trying to make a last stand in Tripoli, where he has all of his thugs and his revolutionary guards around him.
But if Gaddafi continues to attack... Apologies for interrupting you, but if Gaddafi still continues to attack his own people, how long will they stay out on the streets and fight?
I think they will continue. I think Gaddafi is finished in every practical sense. The question now before us and before the international community is, are we going to stand by and watch more people being killed in this process of removing Gaddafi from power and from Libya? And I think the international community here as a whole has a serious moral responsibility before itself. And I think if nothing gets done except these statements and declarations coming out, and when we hear the White House saying we don't have much to do, I think that's ridiculous. We live now in a moment, a historical moment. Either you have an international order that is capable of maintaining peace and capable of actually protecting civilians from this madman who is basically killing them, or we really are in a very, very serious situation that the international order is no longer functioning.
We heard from the United Nations earlier this evening. They came out with a press statement after a meeting in New York. What did you make of the statement?
Well, it is still a statement. The question is, what do you do beyond this statement? I mean, there is a lot of demand for at least a declaration of no-fly zone over Libya. There is still a demand for the international community to try to come up with a process by which the country can come out of this crisis. We all watched Gaddafi today. I mean, in as much as I welcome him coming out on television to show the world how deranged he is, the question is that we are dealing with a madman who is holding an entire country hostage, and he has the weapon. He is importing mercenaries from around the world to help him because few Libyans, except his own inner circle and revolutionary guards, are willing to do his bidding for him. And we are watching here a tragedy unfold before our eyes around the world. And I find it extremely disturbing, both as a Libyan American and also as a human being. I mean, I cannot believe that the international order is that impotent, that it is incapable of removing an obviously delusional, deranged criminal from office and protecting his own people from him.
Just looking at how Libya itself operates, the politics of Libya, what we heard in that statement as well from the United Nations is a call for national dialogue in Libya. But who's going to speak in this national dialogue?
Well, there is a precedent here that people need to start looking at. After World War II, Libya was administered by the United Nations with the protection of the allies at that time. And it was the United Nations that helped organize a process of consultation and so on among the different parts of the country, among the different tribes, that produced a constitution in 1951. And that constitution is the constitution that Gaddafi has dismantled when he took power. So there is a precedent here for the international community in actually helping create the space that is necessary for a process of a peaceful process of transition to a constitutional framework. And so the international community has a lot of options before it. The question is, do they have the will? And are the major players, the Arab League, for example, the EU, the United States, and others, are they willing to actually take the lead and champion that effort?
All right, Hafid El Ghouel, thank you very much for joining us there out of the United States.
Thank you, it's my pleasure.
And just to show you what we're looking at right now is Libyan state television to any of our viewers who are just joining us. And this is what's been playing, in fact, for the last couple of hours on the Libyan state TV. What appear to be pro-government rallies, pro-Gaddafi rallies, supporters of Gaddafi holding up Gaddafi posters and signs and pictures. So that's what Libyan state TV has been airing for the past couple of hours out of Libya. We can now find out what social media sites are saying, and Amike Amulu is over at our web desk. Amike.
Thanks, Dareen. Well, we keep hearing over and over again about these foreign mercenaries, and footage posted online within the last few hours says it shows an alleged mercenary being interrogated in the city of Benghazi.
علي صوتك أبو بكر محمد شريف منين أنت؟
Well, he's repeatedly asked his name, where he's from. He says he's a 24-year-old and that he arrived on Wednesday. He says he just came to Libya to work, but doesn't say what kind of work. And the man behind the camera keeps questioning and assures him that he'll be spared if he tells the truth. And it goes on like this for about 5 minutes, and it's really not clear what happens next. We also can't verify the authenticity of that clip. And this other one is said to be shot in Tripoli. The group filming come across a pool of blood. They follow the trail and find out what they say is a Kalashnikov bullet. Now, this may have been posted by people in Libya who want to show the kinds of weapons being used against protesters. Well, since last week, internet's been on and off in Libya, but it's not been like the week-long blackout that we saw in Egypt, which is why information and videos still manage to trickle through. Information from Google shows that the web goes down, or it seems to go down during the night around 22 GMT, and then comes back up around 5:30 GMT, which is 7:30 a.m. local time. But compare the last chart to this one. This is Libyan web traffic on just YouTube alone, completely flat. Another explanation for why video has been so slow coming out of Libya. Other social networking sites, Facebook, Twitter, as well as the AlJazeera website, remain off limits. Now, you may remember a Twitter page called @Jan25 Voices, set up by an American student to help people in Egypt phone in their tweets. Well, he's done the same with Libya, but this time he's finding the task a lot more challenging.
Phone calls are frequently dropped, and we often find ourselves in the position of being cut mid-sentence and then not being able to reach a person for hours. It can be extremely frustrating, especially if that person is recounting a breaking event or something disturbing that's occurring immediately.
So let's read you some of what he is managing to pull together. There's lots of talk right now on the impact of the Gaddafi speech and what it's having on Libyans. LPC, that's live phone call from Tripoli. This one says, family that lost 2 sons yesterday is now waving a green flag today because of the Gaddafi threats. And you'll notice that the green flags is